I rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal. For how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough, that's why I write without obscenities. Provoking danger with broken language and spoken anguish. Begging to get hurt, why would you ask to go through changes? Yes, Lord, life's a chessboard, master the angles. Control the tempo, be the one who holds the info. Acknowledge is just as deadly as machete swings. When spoken, the truth is as potent as that Medellin. While others swear the style is free, I just let it ring. Our time is undervalued, soldiers make us better kings. My fam's on my shoulder, reaching after better things. Today I take the shot, for them I'd rather set the screen.
My mama told me follow my dreams. My daddy told me get it by any means. Stand tall, make him bow to a king. But I've evolved, you can see the resolve. Look in my eyes when you speaking to God.
Life and for those who we caught up in using what I was scarred with the muse. I guess they call it proving I'm more than an artist. Penciling out my darkest while stenciling out a harvest. And storing what gets me from A to B just like garages. Instrumental with collages. Envision what I've been drawing. Broadway to give you rhythm like the great Lena Horne. So bent on, found comfort in the storm. Find peace and on when you see them others perform. Organized chaos, I'll cast it like hey ya.
I know. I know it. I know. I know. I know it's strange. Welcome to the Knicks Morning Drive. I'm your man, Uncle Freezy. Good morning. This whole thing feels strange. No Knicks basketball tomorrow. Nothing to look forward to. It's frustrating. It's frustrating, but it is what it is. I'm trying to muster up the energy to talk to y'all today after and I just don't have. I have the physical energy, but the mental energy is just not there. Right? Hey, what's up, Donald Cannon? What's good? Donald Cannon, what's good? You a Knicks Podcast? What's good? Lily Phillips, what's good? Lord Shinobi, what's good? Michael Hansen, what's good? Shaw Legacy. What is good? Knicks Man, what's good? Pierre Moise, what's good? Sean Cubes. Michael Hansen, what's good? Let's go Knicks. Right? So today I'm excited about the opportunity to speak to Amar Duhra from the Knicks Time Podcast. Hold on, my producer is bringing something. Hold on. So I'm excited about the opportunity to speak to Amar. I'm texting with him right now. Yeah, so Amar is a really good basketball mind, right? Just met him, spoke with him at length. I think that may have been last. I think that may have been last Saturday or so. Cornerstone Cavs, what's good? Let me say get well soon to my man G-Man for life. Let me say, shout out to my man G-Man for life, who's a little bit under the weather. Right? South Brooklyn, what's good? Otherwise, what's good? So, yeah. Here we are. It's the day after. The day after a heartbreaking playoff defeat. And I really don't know what to say to y'all about how we lost. Because I know how we lost. I know why we lost. I know when we lost. We lost yesterday. Right? But, ooh, this coffee is, ooh. Cheers, everybody. Cheers. Cheers. And I know y'all gonna say, Uncle Freeze, get that energy up. Get that energy up, Uncle Freeze. I know that's what you're gonna say to me, right? But listen, I'm frustrated about the loss. I'm frustrated by the loss. I'm frustrated, man. I'm frustrated. Let me help my guy get on real quick. So I'm frustrated by the loss, everybody, and I hate to look distracted, look dejected. But I am distracted and I am dejected. So I don't have Knicks basketball to look forward to because there is no Knicks basketball to look forward to. Not in the immediate future. I'm frustrated. Got a cup of Joe. Got a cup of Joe. To help me get started this morning. But no matter how much coffee or tea or whatever beverage, energy drink or whatever, it's not going to help me get my energy up. Hey, Sheik Jop is in the building. What's good? Andy Garcia, what's good? Felipe 210, what's good? Lord Shinobi, what's good? T. Williams. Hey, what's good, y'all? So we find out Derrick Rose got hurt in game 4. He still went out there in game 5 and tried to play. Injured Derrick Rose. They gave Frank Ntilikina 0 minutes yesterday. Frank Ntilikina got 0 minutes yesterday. This may be the last time we've seen. Think about this. The last time you may have seen Frank Ntilikina in a Knicks uniform is Frank coming off the bench ice cold to stop Trae Young, and Trae Young hitting a game winner over Frank Ntilikina. That may be the last time we've seen Frank Ntilikina in a Knicks uniform. And I don't like it. Coach Zach, what's good? Top Notch T, what's good? The last time, this may be the last time we've seen Frank Ntilikina in a Knicks uniform. The last time we've seen Frank Ntilikina in a Knicks uniform, he was getting blown by Trae Young. This is frustrating. Very frustrating. Hey, everybody. I'm going to welcome our guest, Amar. Hey, bro, what's good?
What up, Bonk? How you doing?
Good, man. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you as well.
Hey, man. Sorry, go ahead, bro.
I said I wish we were speaking on better terms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, the last time we spoke, there was a small sense of hope in the air. I think we had some answers to some questions that plagued us in game 3. Game 4 and 5 have come and gone, and now we're at home. So let me first introduce you. Let me do this. Let me remove this really quick. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you Amar Duhra from it's Knicks Time, the Knicks Time Podcast, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Right. So it's the Knicks Time Podcast. We spoke briefly in Atlanta, and in the moment, I was like, "Wow, this guy is super sharp. I have to have him. I have to invite him to the Knicks Want to Drive." But in the moments since then, speaking of Hoodie Kev, and Hoodie Kev was there stomping around the lobby complaining about Austin. Remember that? The pizza?
Yeah.
But since then, me and Hoodie Kev were like, wow, this dude is like kindred spirits with us. Like breaking down breaking down Knicks basketball, pointing out, obvious flaws and some things that a casual Knicks fan may not see, So honestly, I couldn't wait to have you on. I want to give you a few days so that we can kind of unpack and get over this, the Atlanta trip or whatever. I actually wanted to have you on Monday, but it was like, nah, that may be too soon.
Yeah.
So how you been since then, brother?
Not bad. I was really looking forward to yesterday's game. Was hoping for a better result, but all in all, like in a nutshell, the season was pretty successful in my eyes, given what our expectations were at the beginning of the season. That said, the result was disappointing in terms of how we played. I feel like that was pretty concerning, but I can't complain with a playoff series this year, given the roster that we had and the expectations we had at the beginning of the year.
So speaking of the roster,
Mm-hmm.
when I saw the roster, I believe it was a significant upgrade over last year's roster, right? I also believe the coaching staff was a significant upgrade over last year's coaching staff. And I believe the front office was a significant upgrade over last year's front office. And so in October, as we started doing the Blorns Tears channel, the Knicks at Night podcast, the Knicks Morning Drive, I was put on the spot. I was asked what my prediction was for this season in terms of record. And won't lie to you, I predicted this team would go 42-30.
Oh wow!
And that was wildly optimistic, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But I predicted that based on Tom Thibodeau's history and track record. The evolution of Julius Randle. I didn't predict what we saw this year now. I didn't predict all NBA, all-star, most improved player Julius Randle. I figured, he averaged 20 and 10 last year on a bad roster. Any help that he could get, any improvement in three-point shooting or whatever, I'm saying, his numbers would improve.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But let me ask this. What was your expectation of this team coming into this season with the roster at the beginning of the season? Pre-Derrick Rose.
Pre-Derrick Rose, at the beginning of the season, I thought our ceiling was about 30, 32 wins. The reason why is because I didn't see, like you said, I knew with the new coaching staff, we would be much improved in terms of defense and also in terms of how hard we compete every single night. And in the regular season, that really matters in the NBA because not every night each team brings it. You see yourself how different playoff and regular season basketball is, right? So if you can get a group of guys to play hard every single night, you can win a lot of games in the regular season in the NBA. Right. I didn't foresee us shooting the ball as well as we did, given who we had on our roster. But that just goes to show RJ made a huge strides at the beginning of the year. I believe like the first month he was shooting low 20s from the 3-point line. He finished high 30s there. Julius Randle, nobody ever thought that he'd be a 40% 3-point shooter. He finished at 41%. Bullock had a good year from three. Frank had a good year from three. We had a lot of surprise guys step up in that aspect. And then I think the biggest thing was defensively. We went from one of the worst defensive teams in the league top three, given depending on what rating you're looking at, which is incredible in my eyes. And you got to give your hat to Tom Thibodeau for that. And that's what he's known for. I didn't think we'd go from worst to first, but I thought we'd be somewhere middle of the road, give us a chance to win every single night and finish around 30 wins. But like I said, this team exceeded all expectations, and that's why I'm not too hard on them for the way that they performed in the first round, because they were overwhelmed, because Atlanta had a lot more talent than we did, for sure.
Right. I figured this would be the next year to make the playoffs, not because of the roster or anything. I felt like the randomness of NBA playoff teams, especially the lower level teams, the teams 6 through 8, and then including the play-in. I figured it's the Knicks were due, because every now and then you see a team kind of bubble to the top, have max or peak performance based on their roster, and they may make the 8th seed and make a little noise or whatever. So I figured this was the Knicks. I figured this was the next year to be the Orlando Magic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or something like that, right? I didn't. Now the 4th seed in the East.
Yeah, that's a little far-fetched. If you would have told me that at the beginning of the year, I would have laughed at you and said you're just another delusional Knicks fan.
Right.
But yeah, like I agree with you. Like, it was kind of wide open. I thought 6 through 8 was kind of where our ceiling could have been. Like, I thought the end of the East was going to be pretty bad, but we did get a little bit not lucky, but I'd say like other teams didn't perform the way that they were projected to at the beginning of the year. I feel like Washington was a little bit of a letdown as well in the East. They had the talent and they could have finished a lot higher than they did. Toronto ran into injuries and whatnot, and we're not playing at home. So, there was a lot of things that went into it. But again, like that, taking nothing away from this team, like they brought it every single night, and they played hard, and they played the right way, which was great to see. After watching basketball for about 8 years here in New York, it was nice to see a team that played together, that played ball the right way. Not selfish hero ball that we saw from Julius Randle last year. Like, he really turned the corner as a player and a leader. I feel that is huge, because this team needs leadership, especially from a star.
Right. Amen, brother. I appreciate that point, because it's easy to look back, to revise history, to look back at how things finished, and then project that onto what we thought was going to happen, because no lie, there were a lot of Knicks fans that thought this team was an 18-win team. 18 wins. There were a lot of people in the national media that didn't give the Knicks credit at all. Even when we knocked off the Bucks early in the season, when we knocked off the Pacers early in the season.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people that wouldn't give us credit. They were like, it's just a early season win. It's, COVID related and a whole bunch of things, and wouldn't give the Knicks credit for being a good team. I want to kind of move to, though, because I understand that. Hey, so how much time you got? Let me ask you that.
Oh, I'm good.
Okay, good.
Good.
The reason why I asked is because I didn't want to infringe. I know I said 15 to 30 minutes, and then if it goes over, I don't want to be disrespectful to NS. Okay. So my frustration with this Knicks team is that during the season, I felt like there were some potential personnel or roster moves to be made. And I believe we missed the window on some of those potential roster moves. And I understand that chemistry means a lot. But then when I saw how we failed in the playoffs, I feel as if some of those moves should have been made, right? Like for instance, for instance, Knicks fans wanted us to go get another point guard. I understand the point guard question. My deal is I felt like the Knicks needed a center that posed an offensive threat to other centers in the playoffs. And we didn't address that when the opportunity presented itself.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw that manifest against the Hawks, where Clint Capella basically went unchallenged in the first round. So how do you feel? What do you feel like we got out of the center position? And could we have done something differently with the centers on our roster? Or should we have gone out and gotten, acquired a center?
Yeah, you know what, our center position really hurt us this postseason. It showed during the regular season. We kind of got by. Noel was great as a rim protector, and but the thing is, our center position is so one-dimensional. All three guys pretty much do the same thing: rim running, rim protecting on defense. Not a lot of spacing. Not great in the post with back to the basket. So we have three guys who pretty much do the same thing. It would nice to have a guy who could stretch the floor a little bit and protect the rim, a Miles Turner type, a guy who can step away from the basket, because I feel like that's something that we really need at the center position for us in order to give Julius Randle the spacing that he needs, right? How many times in this series did we see Randle take one step into the paint and Clint Capella was over, or the second guy was over, and Noel or Taj Gibson was standing in no man's land, being a zero on offense. So, and then again, if we want to play small, which I feel like we should have, that should have been an option with Julius at the 5, because it's not like we were rebounding the ball super well as either, right? So I feel like if you sacrifice the size and went small, it would have maybe worked out a little bit better in terms of spacing on offense. But if Tom Thibodeau doesn't want to commit to playing small, then we need to find a center who can kind of be a little bit different than the guys that we already have. And who knows what's going to happen with Taj and Noel at this point. Mitch is a restricted free agent as well. He seems to be always hurt. But I'd like to see them bring in a guy this offseason to kind of shore up that position.
Right. I understand what you mean, because I saw, and I don't want to move through these questions so fast, but I do want to basically tap into your knowledge base while I got you here. So I saw Derrick Rose run the pick and roll with Taj Gibson.
Yeah,
he turned the corner. Taj set a rock solid screen. He turned the corner, and Taj was just getting out of the screen, just going to the basket. Derrick Rose reverse dribbles, pulls it out because there's nothing there because Taj is too slow to be a roller.
Yeah.
Right. And so my frustration is that Taj Gibson in that pick and roll is not super athletic where he can sprint to the basket and be a legit roll option. You know what I'm saying? Because he can go to the basket, catch the ball, and yam on somebody in traffic, or at least try to. Yeah. And then secondly, he doesn't have the verticality so that if he can't beat him with foot speed, he can't just jump over the top of somebody and catch the lob.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, at 6'9", 230, he's not a big center that can muscle his way, like dump truck his way through the lane and be like a Shaq. He can't do that either. Right.
Yeah.
So when you look at Derrick Rose, you're like, Taj can't even, why am I running the pick and roll with Taj when Taj can't get to the, is not a rim threat on offense. And so now every time they run it, in my opinion, the Hawks didn't defend Taj.
No.
Right? Because you didn't have to, because he wasn't a threat.
Yeah.
So they just cut off the cut off Derrick Rose. You could see them just mirror Derrick Rose, like, hey, listen, your guy is slow.
Yeah,
I can let him go and catch up to him and block his shot if I wanted to. And Clint Capella did that a few times. Like show on Derrick Rose, and then stop Derrick Rose, and then turn around and go back to Taj and block Taj's shot. Or at least mess with it when the pass was there.
Yeah, and I think the reason for that is like on the pick and roll, like you said, Taj isn't very athletic. He's not, and he was afraid to shoot that mid range. Like he took one shot yesterday from that mid range. He was wide open, missed, never shot it again. So that wasn't a threat for him to pop. And then what's going on is they're able to show high on Derrick Rose or whoever's running that pick and roll. Sometimes it was RJ, and then they pretty much trap him at the top there, and then a guard comes off the offside and steps into the paint, and he's guarding two guys, and he doesn't even have to worry about Taj or Noel or whoever it is playing center because they're not a threat on offense, right? So they pretty much what Nate McMillan did is said, okay, well, Noel's not going to beat us, Taj isn't going to beat us. We're going to leave them completely wide open on offense, and key in on the guy who's taking the screen or key in on Julius Randle. And that's what we saw all series, like as soon as our guys turn the corner, how many times yesterday Emmanuel quickly getting the key and Clint Capella's waiting there to challenge his shot, alter his shot. Oh, I think almost 2 or 3 straight possessions he was there. Just because they have no regard for, like, they have no respect for any of our centers offensively. And why would they, right? Like, Noel doesn't scare you on offense. Taj doesn't scare you on offense. And, like, no disrespect to Taj, like, we brought him in. This guy was in street clothes for most of the year, and he did a really good job for us in terms of what he brought. But he was overstretched as a starting center in the NBA playoffs at this point of his career.
Right. Yeah. And I'm going to address this super chat really quick, and then we'll get back to it. White Falcon says,
all right.
Randall did it on purpose. He got to get traded. He said Randall did it on purpose. No, he getting traded for Zion. Man, he ain't getting traded for Zion, bro. You can count that out, White Falcon. You can count that out. But so the thing is we get the same with Nerlens Noel. I was sitting, no lie, and I've told the story about 4 or 5 times already. But it's sobering to my mind to hear somebody say this in real time and then watch it play out and have it be fact.
Yeah.
I was sitting with CP the artist in Hudson's Grill, right? Watching the watching game 3. Derrick Rose and Nerlens Noel are in the pick and roll, right? Nerlens Noel sets the softest screen you have ever seen in your life. Like, he was shying away from contact as he set the screen. But he took off to the basket like the Flash. He was wide open, and he did all the things that you want your big to do. Have his hand up high and away from the defender. You know what I'm saying? Giving a passing target. Showed his chest to the passer. All these things, right?
Yeah.
Be big. Cut hard. You know what I'm saying? All these things. Derrick Rose looked at him and sucked his teeth. Derrick was like, I'm not passing the ball to Nerlens. I'm not throwing it.
He's not taking the turnover. That's the thing, right? He doesn't want the turnover on the stat sheet.
Right. And CP the artist told me, he was like, I was like, CP, look, CP the artist, look. Nerlens Noel was wide open. He was like, man, he ain't passing the Nerlens Noel because he can't catch.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. What? So Amar knows that. I know that. Yeah. CP the artist knows that. So the Atlanta Hawks have to know that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's obviously been scouted and gone over in game fill pre-series, right? Like, hats off to Nate McMillan. He hasn't had a lot of playoff success lately. I think he lost like his last 7 series. But he's he had Atlanta playing great defense. Like the last, I think 20 games, they were rated second in the league defensively. And this is a team at the beginning of the year that was an absolute disaster on defense. And I still wouldn't say they were good, but it was a struggle for us to score 100 points against them because they exploited our weaknesses on offense. They turned Julius Randle into Julius Randle of last year,
right?
Which was pretty. It was for us, it was really sobering, I feel, because after watching the way Randall played all year, and don't get me wrong, he wasn't terrible by any means. Like yesterday, 23 and 13, he played okay. Just okay though. The turnovers killed us, but that was the thing last year. Even like he averaged
8 turnovers. Yeah.
Yeah. Even last year, he averaged close to I think 19 or 18 points, 19 points, and 10 rebounds last year. So it wasn't like statistically he was terrible, but it was the efficiency that killed you.
Right.
And that's what they turned Randall into in the series. So Nate McMillan did a great job chalking up that game plan, exposing the guys on our team that like I said, like Reggie Bullock on offense is being guarded by Trae Young, right? And we're not exposing Trae Young as one of the worst defenders in the league, right? We should be running into him
statistically, the worst defender statistically in the league. Right.
And we did nothing. We did nothing against him. Like, how many times did we set that screen and get that switch and then go straight at Trey, right? And I feel like a lot of it has to do with there was always a second guy waiting because they didn't have any respect for the fifth guy on offense. Or even a guy like Bullock, who they know can only shoot the ball and do nothing else, right? So there was too many times on offense where I was looking and seeing the guys on the floor, and we spoke about this before, it was floor spacing. And the spacing was terrible. Like Bullock doesn't need to be guarded. Noel doesn't need to be guarded. Taj doesn't need to be guarded. Peyton doesn't need to be guarded on offense.
And depending on circumstance, Alec Burke. Alec Burke is lightning in a bottle. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes he's lightning, and sometimes he's just a bottle. You know what I'm saying? You're like, you know what I mean? You're like, because sometimes he is an elite level scorer. And at other times, he's a random journeyman dude, lottery bust from, played for, you know what I'm saying? And
I was just going to say, and that's why he is a journeyman at this point. That's why he's played for 3 different teams in the last 2 years, is because of that consistency off the bench, right? Like he could be a real good 6th man if he was a little bit more consistent in the way that he played. But game to game, he doesn't give you the same effort and same production.
Right, and you know what? And so I'm going to address this super chat. So the Ghetto Intellect, who's a big time Knicks Morning Drive contributor, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chatter platter. In the words of City for Real, he says, "Thank you for the season. You turned us into super fans. # Morning Drive." Hey, thanks, Gi. Appreciate that. So my deal with Alec Burks is sometimes he's Kobe Bryant and sometimes he's Kobe White. But you don't know which Kobe you're going to get. You know what I'm saying? You don't know which Kobe you're going to get until the game starts. You know what I mean? And so us having to depend on a guy that's either going to be Superman or Clark Kent is frustrating for a team that always needs Superman. You know what I mean?
Sure. And I feel like we had too many guys like that who game to game just we didn't know what we were going to get from them, especially off the bench. So I think the biggest thing that kind of showed our weakness in the series offensively is when the only guy consistently off the bench who was doing anything was Derrick Rose. And then when we moved him into the starting lineup, exposed a lot of what was happening on our bench. We didn't have that creator for Quickly or Obi on offense on our second unit. We ran a lot through Burks instead, which didn't go very well, minus the one game, right? So I think consistency off the bench, and you can't fault Obi or Quickly. Like they did have good games, and I feel like Obi played pretty well this series, which was encouraging. But a guy like Burks, we didn't get much out of, So game to game, I feel like the consistency off our bench wasn't there either.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Well, won't lie to you, bro. So I want to phrase it in a way that doesn't sound. I have a question to ask and a statement. But I don't want to phrase it in a way that seems as if I'm homerish or a super homer for the Knicks. I love the Knicks. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. And listen, I do the Knicks morning drive in the morning. I do the Knicks at Night podcast at night. Shoot videos for the channel and stuff. See, I love the Knicks, right?
Yeah.
But to be fair to the conversation, I have to be honest in my assessment of what we see.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And my assessment of what I saw was we blame Julius Randle for everything. And I don't believe Julius Randle deserved blame for everything. I saw Clint Capella, and you and I spoke about it in the lobby. I saw Clint Capella, disrupt our offense, and he wasn't even the on-ball defender or at the point of attack.
Yeah.
He basically disrupted anything that came through the paint. And he went unchallenged doing it. But when the TV camera is focused on the ball, you don't see what Clint Capella does away from the ball. Do we share that or share that thought, or do you have a different opinion?
100%. And I feel like with Julius Randle, the thing was a lot of fans who were harboring bad feelings from last year based on the way he played were just waiting for this moment for him to revert back to this or not be as productive as he has been throughout the year. And I think Tommy Beer had a good quote yesterday, which was that he said that seeing Julius Randle in the playoffs play below his expectations really showed how good he was throughout the entire year, right? Like what we were expecting, his expectations really changed after the regular season that he had. And I agree with you completely. Like they basically took what they knew, right? Like double team Julius Randle, force him into tough shots, don't let him be a playmaker. Like his assists were way down. Throughout this series, right? And like I think what ended up happening was, and you saw this a lot in game 4 and 5, was a lot of hesitation by him on offense, second guessing, not taking the shots that he normally would during the regular season, just because he was overwhelmed with how much what he was seeing on the floor, right? Clint Capella was waiting every single time in the paint for him to challenge his shot, to make him give up the ball, to challenge him in the air, and the frustration was setting in. But I don't think you can look at that in a nutshell and say, oh, like Julius Randle is who we thought he was. No, he's the most improved player in the league. He averaged more than I think he was the second player in NBA history to have those stats besides Larry Bird in terms of points, rebounds, and assists. 41% from three was incredible for him through this year. He made great strides, and literally we wouldn't be having this conversation about playoffs if it wasn't for Julius Randle.
Exactly.
So I just want to get that out of the way and say that. That said, it does show a little bit of what he needs to improve on and what the team needs to improve on around him. I think that's the biggest thing, right? And like I said, that includes more spacing, so you don't have a guy like Capella sitting in the key the entire game to disrupt his offense and to stop him from being a playmaker, right? Imagine if he's only going one-on-one with John Collins or Danilo Gallinari the entire game, and he has a guy to pass the ball to at the three-point line who can knock down that shot. That's a threat. Yeah,
it's a different series. The series is a different series.
Yeah.
Right. If these guys didn't step their game up for the playoffs, but played at season averages, this is a different series.
For sure.
This is an entirely different series. But the unfortunate part is you can't go by that. You have to play each game as an individual, live or die, winner take all game. Right. There is no, if I win tonight, I'm moving on to Miami. So this is, I have to see this after beat this team 4 out of 7. I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like that's why playoff basketball is so much different than regular season, right? So the teams actually have time to game plan. Coaches have time to go through a lot of film and see teams' tendencies and create a game plan based on that, right? Like night to night, like if you're playing a back-to-back and you're playing in Philly one night and then you go down to Atlanta the next, you don't have a lot of time to prepare for the next team, right? But in a 7-game series where they had about 10 days off in between, their last regular season game, the coaches had plenty of time to go through everything. Like they knew exactly where Julius Randle's spots were. They knew what to take away on the floor every single time. They knew who to leave open on offense. On our team, right? On the Knicks, like they knew to leave Noel, Taj, Bullock at times, Alfred Payton completely wide open, because they knew there were zeros on offense, right? And I feel I think I don't know if this is something you want to get into at this point, but on our side, I was surprised at how Tom Thibodeau didn't make adjustments or didn't really plan or alter what he wanted to do based on what Atlanta was doing.
Right.
I feel, and like Tom Thibodeau, I want to get this out of the way. We wouldn't even, like I said, same thing with Julius Randle. Without him, we wouldn't be in the spot. We wouldn't be talking about playoff basketball, which is why I want to give him a pass at this point. And, kind of give him his flowers for the year that he had. But moving forward now, the expectations changed. So this playoffs kind of exposed a little bit of his flaws to me, where, all year we were saying Tom Thibodeau's a great coach, he's a great defensive coach, and he was. Like, he had us at a ceiling where we were playing way above it. But at the same time in the playoffs, like, we never adjusted to anything Atlanta was doing. We never figured out their pick and roll. The entire series, Trae Young killed us, either as a passer, as a scorer, as both, right? Like he did both for us against us, and we never adjusted. We never changed what we were doing. We never sent different defenders on him. We never changed the way we defended the pick and roll. And then offensively, like, we didn't go play. He didn't adjust. He didn't play small. He waited till game 4 to start. Or sorry, was it 3 or 4 that he benched Payton?
Game 3.
Game 3, yeah. So then you wait till game 3 to make a move that should have been done about 20 games ago, so that you could figure out your playoff rotation. You could see who could get in and play some minutes. Maybe Frank would have been in for those first couple minutes. You know what I mean? Or maybe we could have got another guy in. But we never really figured that out. And even up until yesterday, I was hoping that we'd play small, at least for a small stretch, to see what we could do, especially when the Hawks ran Okongwu and Gallinari at the 4 and the 5. I feel like we could have got away with Randall and Obi Toppin at that point. But Thibodeau never went to that. He stuck to the guys that he had, and they were. Nate McMillan was probably happy because he didn't have to make any adjustments to his game plan. He didn't have to do anything different, and we just went back to this. We kept doing the same mistakes over and over again, which kind of really killed us. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of, because the expectations, like I said, are different now. Next year, we're all expecting playoffs. We're all expecting a playoff victory probably next year. So it's in the hands of Tom Thibodeau to figure out that offense real quick, because I'd say at least half of the year, our offense looked pretty incompetent, right? We had a good stretch where we won those games where our offense looked great, but again, playoff basketball is completely different than regular season. I think we saw that. How many games we even score 100 points in the playoffs?
I think just once.
Twice, I think. I think the first game we scored 105. Second game we were at 101, and then after that we never touched it. We never cracked it.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah. Hey, so Nick G, thank you for the super chat. The super chatter platter. Nick G says ATL has been playing well for the last month. They had the best 3-point percentage. They made shots. We have to celebrate the season. RJ and Randall will be better next season. And I agree with what he said, because since the beginning of April, or maybe the beginning of May, the Atlanta Hawks had the best record in the NBA. The Atlanta Hawks were the hottest team in the league going into the playoffs, and they beat us head up. I felt like, though, the style of play that they were using was absolutely best served for us, and boy, was I wrong. Yeah, I thought their style of play was perfect for because what I liken our defense to a boa constrictor, right? Yeah, like the boa constrictor picks out his target and then gets around it or whatever, and then squeezes the life out of it slowly, right? And the Knicks do that defensively. Like once we figure out what teams do, we adjust in game. And then we slowly take all those things away with pressure and by being technicians, right? But Trae Young, and you mentioned this to me in Atlanta, and I didn't realize it. But then when I thought about what you said, I was like, wow, this dude is absolutely right. Right? So you mentioned that our defense is a great defense, but when you go against the skill passing of a Trae Young, who's probably 1 and 3 guys that can make the passes to the weak side corner on target, on time, and in the shooter's pocket while on the move, most NBA point guards can't do that. So our defense works against most NBA point guards. But last night was an example of how what you said was absolutely right. The Knicks hedged on a screen. Trae Young created space by going further away from the screen and threw a cross-court dime to a shooter in the opposite corner, and all the shooter had to do was shoot the jump shot. He didn't have to set it. He didn't have to catch the pass. I mean, of course he had to catch the pass, but he didn't have to move around to catch the pass. He didn't have to toe tap, double dribble, pump fake to get in rhythm. All he had to do was catch the pass and shoot it.
Yeah.
Which makes catch and shoot that much easier and gives the player more time to shoot, and the defender has less time to defend on his closeout. And he did it twice. He did it once. I was like, wow, okay, Amar was right.
Yeah.
The second time he did it, it made me realize Trae Young is an elite passer. And it's not that Tip's defense didn't work. It was just like when you're defending a savant, you're going to have these type of plays happen. You know, it's to me, it reminded me of the Detroit Pistons double teaming Michael Jordan in his prime, right? Yeah. They would send the double team. They would have, think about this. They double team Michael Jordan with Joe Dumars and Dennis Rodman, and Michael Jordan would knock down the mid-range fadeaway over them. Yeah. And you're like, hey, bro, listen, there's no defense for this guy because we have Joe Dumars was an elite wing defender, right? And then you bring the double team with Dennis Rodman, who was Defensive Player of the Year, and Michael Jordan is still hitting shots over them. And that's what it reminded me of. Like when you said it, when you said it at first, I'm not gonna lie to you. And to the Knicks Morning Drive family, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to have Amar come on the show, because he points out things that are not the obvious, that once he says it, it becomes the obvious. You know what I'm saying? It's a high level of the. But let me do this. Let me do this in fairness to them, because I don't know if everybody knows you, right? And I want to give some credit to where your basketball knowledge come from. I think you mentioned to me that you're a basketball coach, right?
Yeah, actually, I coached high school basketball at a high level in Canada for a couple of years now, and now I'm actually a college coach there. So I've been coaching after I finished playing for the last 5 years now. Now I coach at the college level in Canada. So I appreciate what coaches do and the X's and O's of the game in terms of how they strategize and yeah, like Trae Young is such a special talent. I want to get that out of the way. You know, even though as Knicks fans now he is our villain,
right?
But I got to get that out of the way. The guy is a special talent, and he controlled the series in every single way. You know, he controlled the tempo of the game. He controlled everything that happened out on the floor.
Right.
Atlanta's offense was so smooth and looked so easy. That's the thing. That's the difference. You know, Knicks were working so hard to get any shot, any open shot
Right.
on the floor. And it just, to me, every time Atlanta came down the floor, it looked like they were getting easy looks for everybody, right? So that's one thing. Like, I would have liked to see, and like you said, it is a little bit hard given the personnel that we had at center, but I would have liked to see a hard trap come at Trey Young, you know, make him give up the ball and make somebody else make a decision, make somebody
Right.
else make a move or create for others. Because as soon as we allowed him to dictate exactly what happened on the floor, and then the other thing was every single time getting 2 feet in the paint for him, you're dead in the water, right? Because
Right.
that
Right.
floater game is nice. You saw that to open the game yesterday. First play, you know, I think it was either lob the first play and then floater the next, or vice versa. And like
Right.
that
Right.
set
Right.
the tone for the entire game because
Right.
that's all he did, right? And I feel like we had no answer for that. And that was my biggest um gripe with Tom Thibodeau in this series, is that as a defensive coach, how did you not adjust to try to defend that better, or change our strategy? You know, another way to kind of get rid of the pick and roll is to go to zone. We didn't go to zone once, right? Like
Once. Right.
not even once. I don't think we went to zone the entire year,
Right.
right? Which is, I know it goes against Tom Thibodeau's principles as a coach, and you know, he's obviously done. He's well respected because he is a great defensive coach. But in this new NBA, like, you got to do whatever you can to disrupt offenses, right? And like, zone is typically played at the NBA level to disrupt an offense. And you saw that so many times this year when teams would go zone against us, so we'd be cold for 4 or 5 minutes at a time just because
Right.
guys aren't in the right spot on offense. It changes that landscape of what you're doing. You know
Right.
what I mean? It takes a guy who's a good penetrator, like a guy like Trey Young, and maybe he has more defenders thrown at him, right? Because there's another guy coming at him. And he is a great decision maker, so I feel like he would have figured it out. But at the same time, like, that's why I mentioned to you that we need to get the ball out of this guy's hands every time on offense. If we keep letting him come around that screen and we're not making him give up the ball, we have no chance at this series, right? And like,
Right.
he was 30 and 10 every game, and like, how do you account for that?
Right. My first. So I think we went to the zone once that I can recall. That was a memorable attempt at going zone, getting it outside, because we probably went zone, maybe like against a side out of bounds or something, but
Yeah.
quickly went back to man. You know what I'm saying? But against the Milwaukee Bucks, we played the 3-2 zone, and it was a legit attempt to stop Giannis from penetrating.
Yeah.
So I do remember that was a memorable attempt to go zone, to get outside. But for the most part, though, bro, you're right. You're right. And so for those that so as Knicks fans, we see teams run the pick and roll, and we think it's as easy as bring a big guy up, set a screen, go around the screen, and then drive to the basket and throw the lob for a dunk. It's not that easy.
No.
To be a screen and to be a screen and roll team, you have to have a quick thinker, a quick decision maker, right? You have to have somebody that understands what the defense is doing to you and manipulate the defense. Yeah, and I'll give you an example. When I was taught, when you run the screen and roll, your screener has to have, and this is screening up high, 1 foot outside the 3-point line. You give the ball handler 4 feet of room. Like I don't just run straight up to you and set the screen right there. What I do is I go get 4 feet away from you, set the screen. That way you can make a decision whether to reject the screen or use the screen, right? Set a hard screen and listen to the ball handler, like, go. That way I'll know to roll to the basket or to pop or whatever, right? Just whatever. Let the ball handler determine what I do as a screener, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a bunch of other things. And I know everybody doesn't do it the same way, right? But at least there is a fundamental way of doing it. Trae Young is a savant at that. Like Trae Young gets the ball and he allows his screener to set up or not set up, right? I've seen Trae Young send up one. I've seen Trae Young, John Collins come up top. He's like, no. He'll send John Collins off to the corner and bring Clint Capella up. You know what I'm saying?
And that's by design.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, right.
Because you got to look at it this way. The guys who are standing in the spots that they are just as important to that pick and roll as the guys who are actually in the pick and roll. So you got either Bogdanovich, Herter on one side, you got John Collins in the opposite corner spacing, right? Those are guys who can knock down that shot. So all of a sudden, as a defense, you got to be cognizant of them at all times, because what's happening is if Trae Young comes around that screen and our big guy has to come up and hedge him or contest him, then that means the roller's open. So if that offside defender comes in to take away Capella or whoever the roller is, and Trae Young's capable of making that cross-court pass, in that corner, how many times we see that corner three get knocked down by Herter, by John Collins, DeAndre Hunter at times as well, wide open rhythm shots, right? And that really changes the landscape of our defense, because now you can't help the roll. So now you got a guy like RJ who's playing on the opposite side, who has to make a decision, either cut off the roll or stay on DeAndre Hunter, stay on Kevin Herter in that corner and not give up the three. Right. So yeah, and like one thing that I think I mentioned to you, and we talked about this a little bit, is what I would like to see is maybe either trap the screen or ice the screen, force Trae Young one way, make him go towards the baseline, cut off him getting to the paint, because a lot of the times our defenders are getting confused when to help and when not to help. He's coming across the key and he's changing what strong side is on the basketball, right? And usually, like, you don't help strong side when a player's coming towards you. But if he's coming across the paint, your first reaction is to come and help off that. And he's just firing the ball across the key into the corner for a wide open shot. And we weren't recovering, right? Because they just had too many shooters.
Right. And so you mentioned a few solid fundamental basketball points, right? Mm-hmm. So you don't help strong side. That destroys it wrecks your defense. Yeah. It totally wrecks your defensive scheme. You know what I'm saying? And that may be hyperbole, but
as Knicks fans, we know that the game against New Orleans, when D Rose kind of drove into the paint, you saw Lonzo Ball kind of hedge in and try to stop him, and we hit Reggie Bullock for that three to send that game to overtime. After that game, Stan Van Gundy said that's the worst play you can make in basketball. Right. So everybody at that level knows that you can never help, because as a point guard as good as Trae Young at distributing the ball, as soon as he sees you come, that's a wide open shot for his guy in the corner. Right.
That's the easy, especially for a point guard, right? And what people don't realize is, like, so unless you're ambidextrous, and I'm sorry, ambidextrous is not a word. Unless you're ambidextrous, you know what I'm saying, you can make passes with either hand and it'd be good. But for Derrick Rose, on that play that you just mentioned, being right-handed, passing that ball this way is easier than kicking that ball out. So the fact that Lonzo came, he could put that ball right on the money.
Yeah.
Right? That's the worst place to be on defense is no man's land.
Yeah.
And on that play, Lonzo hesitated for a second. Not even a second, a split second, and he was in no man's land. Right?
Yeah.
And so that was a great play by Derrick Rose, and an even better finish by Reggie Bullock. And Trae Young took advantage of that all series long, because once he turned the corner, I saw him look. We were at the game. We were in the suite in Game 4, and I saw him turn the corner twice. Look R.J. Barrett dead in the pupils. Like, R.J. Barrett was the weak side defender. He looked R.J. Barrett dead in the pupils, threatening to go to the basket. R.J. paused. He threw the ball over, passed the ball over R.J. head to a three-point shooter in the corner and knocked it down, John Collins. Twice. I saw him do that. He looked R.J. Barrett dead in the pupils. Or at least I think it looked like he froze R.J. Barrett.
Yeah.
Right? He froze him because R.J. is thinking, like, do I give up this layup to Trae Young? and by the time he finishes his thought, the ball is over his head to John Collins in a corner for 3. You know,
Yeah, and that's what makes it hard to defend, right? Once the defense is scrambling and they have to make a decision, right? Like we're allowing him to dictate what's happening on the floor, right? And he completely blew up our defensive scheme to the point where, like, in the regular season, you'd see us defend similarly and we could recover on our scramble, but we were scrambling around and they had too many weapons on offense, right? And guys were going for them, like. Any guy like Herter was shooting the ball well. Gallinari was shooting the ball well most of the series. Bogdanovich was shooting the ball well, right? So how do you defend that?
It's difficult. This Atlanta team, and I'm not going to knock the Knicks here. What I am going to do though is give Atlanta credit for running an exceptional offensive system against the Knicks. Right. And because I looked at the game, if you look at the box score last night, you're like the Atlanta Hawks did not shoot the ball well last night.
No.
Right. And in game 4, they did not shoot the ball well. But the Knicks shot the ball worse, which gave the Atlanta Hawks more opportunities to score.
For sure.
So it's like the question is Jeff George just as good as Peyton Manning? Well, Jeff George threw for as many touchdowns as Peyton Manning, right? And you're like, well, Jeff George threw for as many touchdowns as Peyton Manning. Well, the thing is, Jeff George threw the football 70 times. Peyton Manning threw the football 35 times. You know what I'm saying? Peyton Manning was actually efficient. You know what I mean? And so that's the difference. Like people will say, you know, well, such and such shoots the ball just as good as Larry Bird. It's not the same. Larry Bird played with way stricter defensive constraints than we do now.
Yeah.
Larry Bird played during the Bad Boy Pistons era, the New York Knicks defensive era, you know, the Cleveland Cavaliers defensive era. But anyways. So Amar, you got a few more minutes?
Yep.
Okay, I want to bring some of the guys into the live chat. I'm sure they'll in the video chat. I'm sure they'll have some questions for you. Would you be okay with that?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna put the link in the chat because I know Cornerstone Kev is itching to get in to talk about Frank Ntilikina.
Yeah.
Right. And so Knicks fans, that play against Trae Young, Frank getting burned by Trae Young, maybe the last time you see Frank Ntilikina in a Knicks uniform.
Yeah.
How does that sit with you, Knicks fans? So
I think he got in for a possession last game. I believe
that's right.
At the end of the first quarter. Yeah. I think when we made that little run at the end of the first quarter, Randall hit that 3. It was like about a 5-point swing, right? They turned the ball over. But that didn't sit well with me either. I know there's people divided on this, but I feel like this was the series to use Frank Ntilikina and his defensive, you know, his length, how physical he is as a defender, his ability to stop on ball. Like these were his minutes to get.
Right. CP the artist. Oh my God, he got his chest out. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. He cleaned his
funeral, man. It's a funeral. Murder, don't do down. Tell them already. We gotta tell them again. Good morning, Freezy. Good morning, brother, man. Amar, you had excellent review. You know, this channel really needs that type of expertise, that visionary, that the game beyond the game, you know, because we're Knicks fans with just a bunch of Knicks opinions on the couch that never played any basketball, never coached any basketball, whatever. Yeah. And they're always wrong. So let me introduce myself.
Yeah.
So I'm the one who gets killed for telling Knicks fans like, whoops, sorry, Uncle Freezy over here, you know, that you shouldn't keep your hope in a failed team. That the trade deadline, they should have made more moves. Okay.
Yeah.
Hoodie Kev told Knicks fans that Alec Burke and Reggie Bullock were not to be depended on. We told Knicks fans that RJ Barrett, that shot is not going to be that reliable when it comes to the playoffs because the playoff intensity rises. Coaches, they scheme against you. And they make a lot of things hard. You made a great point about that Trey Young and the Atlanta Hawks offense.
Yeah.
We can't dare double team him because he has shooters that he could kick it out to. Our problem, correct me if I'm wrong, Randall, he gave it to Reggie Bullock or he had RG on the wing. There was a higher percentage that they were going to miss those shots.
Yeah, we talk about this all the time, and this is something I always used to say at the beginning of the season. It's the spacing, right? The spacing is perfect. Why does Trae Young have so much space on the floor to create and do exactly what he wants to do? It's because you have to respect the guys around him. You have to respect their offensive abilities, right? Like you're not going to leave a Kevin Huerter wide open. You're not going to leave DeAndre Hunter wide open or Bogdanovich wide open. But you're going to leave Nerlens Noel. You're going to leave Reggie Bullock. You're going to leave RJ Barrett at times. You're going to leave Taj Gibson wide open. And that's why we see zero spacing. Like we see Randall running into a guy in a second dribble because they literally are saying, let somebody else beat us. We're not
I dare
of the
you.
other guys on the floor. Yeah.
Right. I dare them to beat us consistently.
Yeah.
The Minnesota game, Uncle Freezy, the Minnesota game when Anthony Edwards said RJ was the person we wanted to shoot that shot.
Yeah.
This is a rookie.
Right.
Now, let me get to the positives, right? Because I don't want to be Mr. Negative and Mr. I told you so. That's why I got on the funeral outfit, you know what I'm saying? I had to come clean for Mr. Freezy, you know what I'm saying? I had to, do it for the chat, you know what I mean? Well, listen, the good thing, like I said in the chat, RJ needs to work on his game, which he will because we know he's a dog. Julius Randle has to work on his brain. I think that guy has the intangible skills to be a very good player for the Knicks for years to come. But I think his biggest problem is in between his brain, his leadership abilities, and the pressure that he is putting himself under the spotlight. And I do believe that on the bright side, we could have these two guys as part of a bigger and better team. We have to add, though, I think, at least two pieces. And you guys brought up Taj. We have to remember this. Taj Gibson was an insurance policy. He wasn't supposed to be performing in this type of role.
Right.
Because we lost Mitch, and I don't believe that we had enough Obi. I don't think Thibs gave us enough Obi to put him in that position for what Taj was doing. I don't think there was enough trust.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I gotta tell you straight up here. I won't be tolerating any RJ Barrett disrespect as a Canadian. I can't.
Wait, my brother. I gotta show you something. Something, my brother. Wait. That you say that. I was born in Canada. Born in Canada, so I could say it.
Don't you dare disrespect the Maple Mamba.
The Maple Mamba, right?
I got my birth certificate here.
Oh shit! Right. All right, we actual brothers then.
Yeah.
Actually, my background is Jamaican, and we do have Barretts in our family.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we do have Barretts in our family. So I would love to do like maybe a family tree with Mr. Barrett. See if I can get some Knicks tickets. That's all I'm asking. I ain't asking much.
Yeah, his pops was a hell of a baller too, man. His pops could ball.
Yeah, man.
He was serious on the floor, so he had a good career overseas. No, you bring up a good point, and I know everybody goes back to the trade deadline now and saying like we should have added more pieces. I agree with you in that sense. Like, at least it would have been nice to have a couple more options. But I think the reason why we didn't is because we didn't want to give up assets for a team that we didn't believe would make it past the second round if we made it there, right? Like, let's all be real here. If we made it to the second round, we're not beating Philly, we're not beating Brooklyn, we're not beating the Bucks, right?
But my problem, though, Amar, was Knicks fans' hopes that they would do something in the postseason with the same exact team. And my only argument was, Amar, it was that if you are not getting better, what is the point? Because don't be a sad face now when you saw what this team was. You knew what this team was. You know, the 9-game winning streak, that was cute. That was cute. Yeah. I think we barely played any playoff games during that time.
Yeah, cute. I agree with you there. I think one of the things is that we always struggled against the better teams up until, like, I'd say the last maybe 15 games of the year where we were competing with a lot of the better teams. But if you look at earlier on or even mid-season, you know, like anytime we play a good team, we would end up losing, and we'd smash the worst teams in the league, right? So to your point, like, once we got into the playoffs, that kind of came out and exposed what our roster was.
Right. So the expectations were way too high for this team. They were happy to be here. And I want to ask Knicks fans, where's your award? Where's our award now? We made it to the first round of the playoffs. Where's our trophy? Where's the banner?
Yeah, you know what? Like, I think I agree with you there that we, you know, or the playoff exit wasn't the way that we wanted, but you got to look at the season as a whole as a huge positive. And, like, look at the blueprint that Brooklyn set a couple years ago. You know, young team with a young star. They had D'Angelo Russell at that point, making the playoffs, being competitive, winning culture, what that does for your franchise in terms of attracting other free agents in the offseason. I think our biggest thing that we needed to do was show that we are competent and that this franchise is heading in the right direction. And
it is.
We finished 4th in the East, right? We have a lot of good young players. We have 5 first-round picks in the next 3 years. We have $50 million in cap space, right? That's really attractive to a guy like, say, if Kawhi Leonard gets bounced in the first round, or, you know, we see a Damian Lillard gets bounced in the first round, and all of a sudden he wants to be traded. Like, guys will want to come to New York because they see that we have the pieces around them to compete, and we have the front office that will make smart decisions, right?
I co-sign with that. I really co-sign with that.
Yeah.
Good morning, gentlemen.
What's going on?
What's going on? I see everybody's bright and cheery. CP has on his funeral jacket. Where you going?
Them a murderer. Them a vampire.
Freezy.
What's going on? He said he a murderer, he a vampire.
What up, Freezy? We gotta get you to practicing, Freezy. What's up, Guan, Freezy?
Hey, Freezy, what's up, Guan?
Okay.
So I had to get off the ledge because I was really tight last night. I was on Sim show for like 5 minutes, and I felt the blood percolating. I was like, you know what? This is not. I had a few drinks. I said, you know what? It's about to go down. So let me get off. Right. And let me just say one thing here. And I know we're gonna kill Julius and so forth, but my focus here now is on Tibbs. And I remember a couple of months ago, I think a story came out, like, what did he learn from previous stops, and that he's made certain changes and adjustments in his coaching style and things of that nature and so forth. And I'm like, I didn't see that in this playoff series. He reverted back to what he likes to do. And that's a telling, you know, attribute about this coach who's been a coach for many a year, you know, assistant coach and so forth. And in assessing the team, he's the first person that has to be assessed by upper level management as far as going forward, and the guys that, they're planning to bring in or not bring in and so forth. You see what I'm saying? Because in those moments, I like Quinn Capella. I thought when Houston got rid of him, last year, it was a stupid move because you need rebounding and shot blocking at certain points of the game. Right. But he allowed Quinn Capella to camp down in that paint as if he was Hakeem Olajuwon.
Right.
And not devise or do something a little bit different to allow some space for Julius and some of the other players, because every time some of these guys went into the lane, he was 2 feet away. It's almost like they refuse to acknowledge that he's right there.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying? So, as for Knicks management, long term, big picture, is this the guy to take us to that next step, to get us to a finals appearance, to win a finals? That has to be looked at in the total, team construction going forward.
Pump your brakes, AD. Pump your brakes. I am not the biggest Thibs fan, because I believed in the development of the youth in the long term. And last night, R.J. Barrett played 40 minutes, and Bullock only played 14. There was a moment in the game I was like, yo, you need to sit R.J. You got to sit him. Even though I was an advocate in the regular season to keep R.J. in this position, because R.J. is the future, and he has to learn these experiences, good or bad or whatever, you know what I mean? But last night, Alec Bullock had the hot hand, and I feel like he could have kept him in there. And like you said, it would have allowed more spacing. And what Amir was saying with Trae Young
it's Amar.
I apologize, Amar.
No problem.
I'm terrible with names. I can't say New Orleans, Newell. That's his name. You know what I'm saying? I call Uncle Freezy, Uncle Breezy for so long. So getting back to my point, and I'll end it here, that, he's not untouchable, but here's the thing, though, too, AD. If he had more talent, we wouldn't even be having this conversation about
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. But still, you still have to look at him and to review what is his overall philosophy going forward. Because the thing that we thought that we were getting from him, that we got for most of the season one, was defense. His defensive strategies were horrible. His defensive strategy against Trae Young and that team was horrible. So if you're telling me more talent, when you say more talent, are you talking about more offensive talent, more defensive talent, more two-way players? You see what I'm saying? That's too ambiguous of a point.
More two-way. Because Leon Rose didn't do him any favors at the trade deadline. Let's keep it real. He didn't give him it. You got journeymen on the team. You had Alec Bullock guarding
Reggie Bullock.
Reggie Bullock. My mind is going. I had too much coffee. I'm going like 15 miles over the speed limit. When you have somebody like that, and I will say this, AD, to your point, I believe Thibs has trust issues, and I've been saying that forever. He is like Planned Parenthood. He hates the kids. I think that he would. I think he would rather go with a reliable veteran than a younger player that would probably give a lot more of a spark.
Yeah.
Look
But
at his third quarter.
I want to know
third quarter. Right? Look at his third quarter. You come into halftime. You come into halftime. You're down 4-5. Everybody in the starting lineup did not have it. And they kept cutting to him on the sideline, and he is sweating. He's losing hair by the moment. And you're riding with these guys to the 3.5 minute mark while the lead is getting bigger. That's not good That's not good in-game coaching. That is just not good in-game coaching.
Amar?
Okay.
Yeah.
You're the coach.
Yeah. You know what? I'll have to side with AD here a little bit.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys look back to when Tibbs was in Chicago, and he was the year Derrick Rose got hurt, and they played Boston in the first round, and Chicago was riding with Nate Robinson and Ben Gordon as their backcourt.
And John Lucas III coming off the bench.
John Lucas III coming off the bench, right? Not the greatest collection of talent. They pushed that Boston team real hard, almost to the limit, right? That was the type of coaching that I kind of wanted to see from Tibbs. You know, if all year he didn't have the talent, right? But he kind of adjusted, and that year he adjusted to what the personality he had. In this series, he didn't make any adjustments in terms of what they were doing and what we had on our side, right? So why we had a guy who on the bench, who's known as a defensive player, who's known as a great on-ball defender, who's big, physical, Frank, right? Why don't we turn to Frank for 3 or 4 minute stretches at a time when Reggie Bullock clearly isn't doing anything on defense? Like, he's not stopping Trae Young at all on defense, right? And he's not shooting the ball. He's not shooting the ball well. Frank gives you a little bit of shooting, and he's a better defender. Why not give him a shot? And this goes back to Tibbs has no trust in Frank. Why? Because he didn't play him. Because he was wasting minutes on Payton for no reason, even though we knew Payton was not the answer offensively or defensively. He was checked out.
Alfred Payton was mentally checked. And not to cut Amar off, but we were at the game for game 4, and you could see his body language, bro. He was mentally checked out. He not only was he not interested in the game, his body language was like, I'm not interested in playing basketball. I'm not interested in being a Knick, right? Like, why am I even here? Was what his body language was saying.
And Freezy, to your point, he's been like that when he was starting.
Right. He hadn't been like that for a long time. So he's been like that for a long time.
I'll never forget that post game. I think it was on TNT. He had a post game, and he looked so disinterested, and it was after a win. He was like, it was after that burner account was found.
Right. Hey, I'm not gonna lie to you. When I knew it was time to move on, was the Timberwolves game when Alfred Payton, and this is a shame before the basketball gods. Alfred Payton was turned. We were running the play on offense against the T-Wolves. Anthony Edwards picked his pocket and went in for the dunk that gave the Timberwolves a 1-point lead.
Oh God!
And Alfred Payton, why in a close game are you turned around looking at the other team's basket for one? And as a point guard, why are you not protecting the basketball? Well, when that happened, we had a 1-point lead. And Alfred Payton was legit turned around looking at the other team's basket. And at the top of our key, looking at the other team's basket for dribbling, like for 3 seconds, Anthony Edwards just ran up to him and took the ball, stole it, and went in for a dunk.
Yeah.
And right then, in my mind, I would have sat Alfred Payton down and talked to him like, bro, do you want to be here or not? Because you just cost us a game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Yeah. And then not only that, the dude that stole the ball got on the show after that and was like, yeah, we wanted RJ Barrett to shoot it. In that case, we didn't want Randall touching it. So not only did Alfred Payton lose us the game, we got our stars embarrassed. Hey, somebody got YouTube playing?
Not me.
Okay.
RJ Barrett. He deserves some of the smoke. Yesterday he said, "Hey, we are winning."
Bro. No.
Ain't no nah. No, ain't no nah.
No.
If we're gonna do it,
RJ Barrett, for one thing. Hey, for one thing, you're not gonna disrespect my Caribbean brethren. like that. Okay, you're not gonna disrespect my Caribbean brethren like that, bro. You're just gonna throw RJ a random name out there. You're not gonna disrespect my Jamaican people like that, bro. You ain't gonna disrespect my Canadians like that, bro.
Yeah.
I'm Canadian and Jamaican. You disrespect me all the time.
That's because you're Taj Gibson. That's because you're Taj Gibson and you're not RJ Barrett.
Look, I think on the upside, he can work on his game. Like he said, he is only 20. And I do believe in him because he has that work ethic that he's going to turn this thing around. But that doesn't mean he is immune to getting the criticism and the smoke.
Fact.
He did not give the Knicks a chance in any of the 5 games that we played, even the ones that we won.
Fact.
And so it's like his inefficiency as a shooter is glaring. I mean, he's a shooter, but you know what he is? He's not an automatic shooter. Like what we've been saying, he's not an automatic shooter. He's like that gun that jams sometime. You're afraid it might go off on you, but it jams sometime. It's like that, you know, that Dusty 45 or something.
Yeah,
like
you're talking about automatics. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I gotta disagree. I gotta disagree a bit with that because we knew RJ Barrett wasn't a shooter coming into this year. You know, like we didn't have expectations for him as a shooter. I think last year he shot maybe low 30% from the 3-point line, and then even at the beginning of the year he didn't shoot very well. But to end the year, like he's at like 39% at the end of the year as a 3-point shooter.
He finished at 40. He finished at 40.
40. There you go. 40 is, and that's high echelon in the NBA right now, right? So right. I think you got to give him some credit there. I think as a whole, our team in the playoffs, we shot terribly from the 3-point line. Everybody percentages were down across the board, right? And I think RJ, he does have some glaring issues with his shot. I feel like he was overachieving in the regular season as well, but it just goes to show like how much work you put in the off season to actually get better at that. One thing that like I feel Tibbs should exploit more is him, RJ Barrett in the pick and roll. Like, why don't we put him in more pick and rolls with better players, with Julius Randle?
Yes. To pick up on a piece of your point there, Amar. Yeah. Not only that, RJ is a natural right-handed. Yeah. He is naturally right-handed. He doesn't use his right hand. He never goes to the right side. It's like you're waiting for him when he drives for someone who's not superior athletically gifted, right? Yeah. You can catch him because he only wants to go left with that left hand. You're naturally right-handed, my guy. In order to make the next step, and I say this to Julius as well, if you're only going to go on your strong side, then you better have variations to your move on the strong side, on your strong side, on that left side. Right. Because Julius, the same thing as well. When Julius would get into the lane in Atlanta, and even last night, I'm like, dude, you're 5-6 feet away from the hole, and you can't turn and pivot because why? You have no right hand. You can't go right at all. He can't go right. Both of them. You have to strongly work on your right side, my guy. You rather pass the ball out for a 23-footer instead of a turn and a pivot for a 5 to 8-footer.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense.
Right. And if you're gonna be, so the thing is, if you're gonna be a one-trick pony, it better be one hell of a trick. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. And so the thing with RJ Barrett to Amar's point, I saw RJ Barrett in game 3. Me, CP, the artist, and myself were sitting side by side, and the fried pickles came. And I didn't want to share the fried pickles with CP, the artist, but just to be cordial, since it was our first time meeting, I offered him some, even though I really didn't want him to have any. Right? So I offered to share, even though I really didn't want him to have any. But during that time, we saw R.J. Barrett at point guard or on ball, and he threw a pass to a cutting Derrick Rose, and Derrick Rose bobbled the ball, gathered it, and went up for a layup and got fouled. Right? And so what people didn't realize in that moment was not only could RJ see the play develop, he anticipated where Derrick Rose was going to be through the bounce pass on time. Derrick Rose, unexpected, not thinking the ball was going to come, bobbled it, but he gathered it and was athletic enough to make a strong basketball move. Right? So that play goes down where RJ Barrett does not get an assist. Excuse me. So prisoners of the moment will say, well, RJ Barrett is not a good facilitator, right? But then he also threw a pass to Reggie Bullock that forced Reggie Bullock open. And I don't know if people understand what this is, but you can make passes on target, and then you can make passes that pass players open. And RJ Barrett passed Reggie Bullock open for a three-pointer, and Reggie Bullock missed his shot. RJ Barrett doesn't get the assist, but those watching the game can understand that he has anticipatory skills and vision and touch on passes. And you need that in order to be a playmaker. But since Reggie Bullock didn't make the shot, RJ Barrett doesn't get the assist. And thus the story that play gets washed away in NBA history, right?
Yeah.
My thing is if we explore this thing with RJ Barrett being more of a ball handler in space, I think it opens up our offense, especially if we get him another offensive threat on the floor.
Yeah, and I think I don't know if a lot of you guys watched him play at Duke, but they had him in the pick and roll as the primary ball handler a ton of the time, and that's what made him so attractive as a prospect, because he can give you 4 to 5 assists per game as a ball handler coming off that pick and roll. There are some serious things he needs to address in his game, though, like the consistency in his shooting. Just like AD said, Gordon is right. He's not good at there. I think like one thing that he really needs to develop is something in between a set 3-pointer and a layup or a dunk at the rim. You know, he needs a floater. Right. He needs a mid-range jumper. He needs something in between, right? Because he's at this point, he's got nothing. Yeah, he's got nothing in between. And I think one thing that Tibbs didn't do well with RJ is get him into spots where he's coming downhill on that left side, either on a curl, a down screen, or something like that, to kind of get him, moving and coming downhill already on a defender, because that's when he's at his best, right? When he's already running at a defender. When he's already set, it's really hard for him to beat a guy off the dribble. But if you pin down a guy and have RJ coming on a curl to his left side, going towards the basket, he's a problem, right? Like that's where he's a problem. Right, and I feel like we didn't do enough of that. Like we didn't get him in pick and roll, and we didn't get him into spots like that where he could actually be effective. Like he's not going to beat anybody off the dribble.
And remember, Uncle Freezy, when Jonathan Macri was here, and I asked him this question: don't the Knicks? Don't we don't run enough pick and rolls? And I remember Macri saying, we're like the lowest in the league at running the pick and rolls. Right. And because I specifically remember the years with even Hornacek and Fizdale and stuff like that, we just ran pick and rolls to death, especially with Frank and Mitch. That's why Mitch was getting those lobs. We rarely seen lobs from Mitch this year. He did do a couple of pick and rolls and stuff and so on, but we never seen that connection, that pass that we've been seeing. It used to always be that dribble handoff, with Randall and everything. And I feel like
and it's a pick and roll league, right? Like that's every team. It's very rare in the NBA that you see teams run full offense sets all the time, right? They may get a little bit of motion going into the first their first actions, right? But like within 15, when it gets to like 15 or 12 seconds in the shot clock, every team's running pick and roll in the NBA, right? It's either pick and roll or an ISO. You'll hunt a guy down. Like this is another thing with Tibbs that I didn't understand why we didn't do this more. Why didn't we hunt down Trae Young offensively? Why didn't we get him on a switch on one of our guards, RJ or whoever? Like the couple of times that RJ got Trae Young on a switch, he murdered him inside. Like he literally just went around him. It was like he was playing against a child, right?
Right.
So why aren't we hunting guys like that on offense when that happens?
Nate McMillan did it.
Nate McMillan did it, yeah, for sure. He was hunting Noel and other guys on offense, making them come out and defend, right? And I don't know if you guys like one of the things that how the Raptors ended up beating Golden State that year is that they hunted Steph Curry and DeMarcus Cousins on every single play, so that Kawhi Leonard was only being defended by Boogie or Steph Curry. Why weren't we doing that?
Right.
Right? Pick up the darn slow-mo, man. I can't even make a comment. Only, I mean, come on now.
I have to protect us against trolls, bro. That's the reason why we in slow mode.
Well, you ain't paying the mods?
Who's trolling?
Come on now.
Yeah, hey man, the mod. Hey, shout out to the mods, bro.
Listen, I agree with you on the. But here was the thing: when you had, let me ask you something, Coach. When you have where they stack the paint and they don't trust the shooters, because I used to play center. I used to love the post, right? Yeah. But the thing was that.
Oh, here we go. Man, I averaged 28 a game, 28 and 17 rebounds. I don't know why they didn't recruit me.
In Polk High, yeah.
Why didn't Seton Hall recruit me?
Rutgers, you averaged 28 and 17, guy?
Nah, hell no. I can't remember. I probably had Skip Bayless numbers. But
1.4.
If I had the basketball on the post and I dropped my right shoulder and somebody was there, like, because they could be able to collapse on you and I would pass out. I've seen that with Clint Capella. I think if they would have gave either RJ or Randall the ball in the post, you had Clint Capella right there because he wasn't gonna care about what Todd Gibson was gonna do in the perimeter.
Right. Oh yeah, it's all spacing
because somebody was gonna cover it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're playing 4-on-5 on offense every single time when you have Noel and Gibson out there because they're not gonna shoot mid range. Noel can't catch the ball around the basket. He's not great, right? So that's the reason why we couldn't get anything going in that sense. And like I gotta protect Tibbs a little bit here. Is like we don't have a good point guard to run a pick and roll. Really, we don't have a good rim runner at this point to run a pick and roll. Right. We don't have that. We don't have the shooting to kind of around the guys running the pick and roll to kind of do that. Right. So I feel like once we have better personnel, then maybe it's a different conversation. But I still feel like we didn't expose Atlanta's weaknesses at all in like exposing Trae Young, right? Like he's not working at all on defense, and if you're not making him work on defense, that means that he's gonna
have fresh legs in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and it showed, right? Like he's not afraid of Reggie Bullock posting him up or taking to the basket or anything like that. He's coasting. That's why he's walking around talking shit. Half the time he's talking to the crowd instead of playing defense. You know what I mean?
Right. So in defense of CP the Artist, if CP the Artist catches that ball in the post, right, and nothing's there, but I know the matchup is ideal, I go to CP and say kick and tell him to give me the ball back on the perimeter. You repost and show big, and I'll put that pass back on your strong hand so you can go at it again, right? Because the defense is going to do one of two things. Either they're going to double team and put the pressure on me as the passer, not to get an entry pass into CP the Artist, because they don't want CP the Artist to eat down low, or they just show that to see what kind of offense we're running, and they're not going to bring a double team, and I'm going to repost CP the Artist so he can go down there and eat. right? If CP the artist don't pass me that ball back, I'm gonna go down there and snatch it from him and take it out, and then reverse the ball to the opposite side. That's just how this thing works. So the thing with Trae Young and RJ Barrett is you got to give RJ Barrett the ball there. What happened was, and we don't notice it right offhand, but what happened is every time they tried to post up Trae Young, Atlanta went to a zone. So there were two guys. So Trae Young backed off his guy, sagged to the box. RJ Barrett would be calling for the ball. A man would sag towards RJ Barrett. So they would zone up to deny RJ Barrett from getting the basketball, as opposed to taking one guy from that side and moving to the opposite side of the court in an ISO situation and having one guy on that side with RJ Barrett in a two-man game where that guy that was sagging down on RJ Barrett to deny the pass so that Trae Young wouldn't get cooked. We didn't even do that, and that's basic basketball fundamentals. Like,
let me ask you something. Trae Young was specifically guarding Reggie Bullock, who never is in the. So how do you get him to switch on a guy that's going to post him up? And what Atlanta was doing was protecting Trae Young from those things, because if they ever put him in they would switch. They'd be like, "Hey, Bogdanovich, hey, Hunter, I need help, switch." Because they do. I mean, even Emmanuel Quickly. There was times that there was teams that put Emmanuel Quickly or even Frank in a post-up situation. But the thing was, it was like they would be like, "Yo, switch real quick," and the man would come and save him.
But you run pin downs, right? Because if Bogey is looking to switch onto that man, then you pin him down, right? You screen him, you just flatten him, right? That's what you, because Bogey is going to eventually get tired of running from side to side, running through Nerlens Noel, Julius Randle, and who else is screening in order just to prevent Trae Young from being isolated on RJ Barrett, or you could just run the ISO on as CP to all. Listen, this is. I'm gonna just say this, and I know this is gonna sound elementary, but just follow me on it because I'm not trying to
please
dumb it down. But when the Atlanta Hawks made a basket, and we learned this in high school, right? When the opposing team make a basket, the only person taking the inbound pass and bringing the ball up is the point guard. On made baskets, you have to go down and get a quality shot at your end. And what was happening was Julius Randle went from a guy that was getting a defensive rebound and pushing it in transition to a guy that on made baskets, he's telling Derrick Rose to take it out so he can bring it up court.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Why is your power forward bringing the ball up the floor 90 feet?
I hate it. I freaking hate it.
And so what happened is over the course of the season, you wear your point guard, your power forward down, right? Your power forward is doing all these things. So by the time the playoffs come, your power forward has no legs, right? He thinks he does because this is new. But you can look at his shooting numbers and tell that this dude literally was worn down. He had no legs in the playoffs. That's why you have a backcourt tandem, a rotation of guys to bring the ball up the court, right? And I know it sounds simple. Like, it's like, well, all he's doing is dribbling. No, it's not all he's doing is dribbling.
That's not all he's doing.
Right.
Setting up the offense and everything.
You're right. And ideally, a team might have either a young point guard and a veteran backup, or a veteran point guard and a young backup, a combo guard, and a two guard that can handle the ball. So you have a rotation of like four guys that can do it. But the Knicks had Julius Randle doing it.
You know what I hate the most, though? When in offense you see that either RJ or Rose want to take their guys off the dribble. You know what Julius Randle will do? Bring himself and the defender straight to that ISO situation and be like, give me the ball. Give me the ball. It kind of reminds me of when his son, God bless him, was in that little league game, and he saw his teammate was dribbling the ball, and little Kenyon just snatched it away from that kid and threw up a shot. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Julius Randle does that. I'm like, oh my gosh, could the player let him cook? I think the thing is, it's like he does like this series. He went back to 2020, Julius Randle. High turnovers, hero ball, and like I said earlier, and I'm going to keep harping on this. RJ Barrett needs to work on his game, or Julius Randle has to work on his brain.
Right.
His brain. He doesn't have the closer mentality yet, and he doesn't have the mental game mentality yet. And I believe that is his next step in his elevation as a player.
Right.
But let me ask a question.
Hey, hold on. Let me do this real quick. So I only have about 10 minutes left before I have to go and do something. And so what I want to do is just say, if you like what you're hearing, smash that like button. If you see a like button, beat it up. Subscribe to the channel. Right? Share on your social medias. I think Amar disappeared. I hope he come back. If not, man, I'll send thank yous to him from everybody here. P Rose, you want to jump in and say something to that?
Yeah, like what CP said about the next step for Randle is to close, and it goes back to what Dude was saying about him being able to go to his right hand more. And I'm not saying that he needs to be able to score. He needs to be able to score, but more or less, if he can find ways to facilitate going, leading with his right, when they come with that late delayed double team, can he find a way to use his feints, use his pump fakes, use his footwork to get to his right, set up a teammate for an easy jumper, cross court, like these cross court passes, you're not giving your teammates, easy jumpers. They're mostly contested, or they're off balance jumpers late in the shot clock, like save us, bad possession. And also he needs in crunch time, 5 minutes left in the game, in these moments he needs to play more possessive, value each possession, make sure you're making the right passes. If somebody got the ball and you see your teammate, they got a matchup that's favorable for them, get them the ball and let them cook, like don't just try to take the ball. You're going to have your moments because, yes, you are the best player, but you got to pick and choose your moments when you're going to be aggressive. And when it's time to be aggressive, now that you know that the teams are going to be coming at you, forcing you to go right, it's up to you to work on your game, get with somebody that's going to help you with your footwork, going to your right, driving to your right, step back into your right and everything, and find ways, watching film, to implement those new skill sets that you want to learn. At the end of the day, I think at the end of the day, he has the ability and the talent to do so. It's just all about execution. And then with the team as a whole, the thing that I noticed, and I was at Game 4, I was down in the ATL for a little drumline camp, and we went to Game 4 for a little bit.
P Rose, why you ain't look us up?
Man, I didn't know.
You don't talk to strangers.
I thought y'all was just down there for Game 3.
Hey, did you see them?
Hey, man. I was born. The ATL is my home. I was born in the ATL.
Oh, okay.
No, I didn't see them. Like I got there. I got there a little late, like right when the game started. So I didn't get to see the warm ups or nothing. But we left. Like our group left during the middle of the third quarter because we had other stuff to do. But it was a good experience while I was there. But like I say, the thing that I know about the Knicks is that they have scoring lulls. Like they'll go 3 to 4 minutes without scoring. And as good as their defense is, your defense is not gonna stay A1, for 3 to 4 minutes if you ain't getting buckets. There's gonna be some weakness in that defense, and that weakness got exploited. My only thing is, they got $50 million in cap space. They got 5 first-round picks. All I'm saying is, for the Knicks front office, don't splurge it all in one seat. Just be patient. You got the young pieces and everything. Just fill your needs. You need a point guard that's gonna, like, an actual point guard, facilitating point guard, in my opinion.
Spend it
And
all.
there's going to be a
Dame
couple
Lillard.
that they're restricted free agents. If I had to choose a restricted free agent they need, I say go after Josh Hart. He's a restricted free agent from New Orleans. He's going to provide you great. Yeah. He's going to provide you great defense, and he can also and the thing is he can also get you like 15 and 8 a game.
Yes.
And he's shooting 41% from 3 and 46% from the field. And he's shooting 87 from the line.
And he's going to be in his 5th year. He's going upwards. His trajectory is upwards. So we haven't even seen the best of Josh Hart yet.
Yes. Let me quickly jump on 1 second here, CP and fellas. And I want to put this out there in the chat. Kev, what's good, baby?
Hey, what's up, AD? How you feeling, bro?
We have to really, the management has to really look at Julius Randle and ask themselves, is this the guy that you're going to build around? Or do we need to bring in another 2 pieces and have him be the pieces around them? You understand? Because in order to lead, you have to learn how to lead. You got to learn how to get guys in positions. Like some of those things that you guys that we were talking about earlier, him taking the ball and things of that nature. If a CP3 or a Lowry or one of these other guys is there, they're telling him, get back, get away. You know, that's what I'm talking about. So they got to really look at that. But anyway, gentlemen, I got to run. It's always fun kicking with you guys. Knicks family for life. I know what it is.
Yeah. Quickly before I gotta run too, I just want to answer that question. Of course, Julius Randle isn't the guy who will take us to a championship. I think that's pretty obvious. But he is a piece to build around, right? He is one. He is a piece, right? But we got to think back to when we had Carmelo Anthony, who was the top 5-7 player in the NBA at that point. We still couldn't get it done with him. Right, Julius Randle isn't the player that Carmelo was either. These guys need help. They need in this day and age in the modern NBA, like you need 2 or 3 superstars.
You need a big
all stars. Yeah, you need 3 really, really good top 15 NBA players. And like Randle, I'd say is on the cusp of like 15 to 20, somewhere around there at this point. But he's definitely not a guy that we can say, hey, you're the number 1 option and build around solely him and not have any other guy like I keep saying, like a Kawhi Leonard or Damian Lillard or somebody like that come in and like offset some of the pressure, because his game's just not built to handle, like 25, 30 shots a game efficiently. That's not his game.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
And there's no harm in that, because James Harden is an excellent number 2.
Right.
Anthony Davis is an excellent. Oh, go ahead, Cam.
Yeah, just real quick to your point. Do you think it's feasible? Now you say we need like a big 3. Is it feasible to trade or put up all our assets, meaning draft picks and some of the players that we have, just to have to get those guys? In other words, do we have to cripple what we have in order to get this big 3? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, like obviously we are.
There's deals to be made though.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Sorry, can you hear me?
No.
Yeah, I can hear you. I didn't hear the other. I didn't hear
you now.
Yeah.
No.
There's definitely deals made, like he said, right? And I think we're gonna have to at some point part with some of these assets that we do have. Like we have 5 firsts in the next 3 years. We're not gonna be using all of those. We have young guys who we don't know what we're gonna do with them in terms of Knox, Frank, even Mitch. At this point, we don't really know what we're gonna do with him. Even RJ, like I wouldn't say that RJ is completely untouchable in the right deal either. And I don't want to give up everything, but if it's the right deal for the right player, a guy who will take us over the top, why not? Right? Because at this point, like, it's good being a competitive team, but if you want to be a championship team, you need like top tier talent.
Right. Hey man, hey brother, I just wanted to tell you thank you for coming on.
Yeah, no problem.
Right. And so I just want to share the screen with you. So while we part, I'm gonna bring the other guys back on just real quick. Yeah. So where can we find you on social media?
You can't yet, but I will be on there soon. I will let you know.
All right.
Hopefully you guys will have me back and I'll be on here and I'll try to contribute with you guys as much as I can. But it was a for being on today. And yeah, for sure, hit me up whenever. I'd love to be back on here to talk some Knicks with you guys.
All right. Hey, man, thank you very, very much for coming on.
I appreciate it.
I'll go ahead and let you rock since you got to get out of here. But I just wanted to say thank you from myself and the Lawrence Cheers family. And then that way we can let you get out of here. Because, Cornerstone Kev was going to ask you 11 more Frank Ntilikina questions.
I'm all written down in a notepad, all his stats. So. As long as you got those Kevin Knox workout videos ready, I'm ready.
All right, brother. I'll holler at you later, man.
All right, Unc. Peace.
All right. Peace.
You cold.
Hey,
you's a cold dude. I gotta let her get out of here, bro. You are truly Darth Sidious. You got on a new shirt. I heard what you said. No, I heard what you said, Darth Sidious. That's your name. That's your name.
I had to let my man get out of here because he was on. You know how it is.
But you understand what my question was? Do you want to trade almost everybody just to get your Beal or your Kawhi Leonard? Or whoever, if we're talking about a big three, you know what I'm saying?
But so in my opinion,
go
ahead, P Rose.
Like the thing is, if we talk about this year, like Kawhi has a player option this year, and I don't think he's going to sign that, so he'll probably be an unrestricted free agent. My thing is, in terms of like the big mega stars. In terms of getting them, you're probably not going to be able to get them without trading a whole bunch of your assets. But like some of these young upcoming stars, they're going to be in contract years in like 2 or 3 years. Like you look at like about 3 or 4 years from now, you build and everything. You build with Randall, you build with RJ. A couple years from now, you're gonna have Jaylen Brown in the contract.
Right. Oh, he's phasing out
here. Maybe
Kev,
maybe B.I. wants to come up there and everything.
Hey, P Rose, hey, I think the Matrix got you, man. I think Morpheus is coming your way to give you the option, red pill or blue pill right now. Because you were cutting in and out. Can you hear us?
Red pill all the way, baby.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
G.I. knows about that.
Can y'all hear me?
Okay.
Yeah.
G.I. know about the red pill, even though he's blue pill.
Listen, I'm called the resident. I've been hanging out in the Mansfield lately, and they call me the resident simp.
You are a simp. You are a simp, man.
No, come on, bro.
Yeah, I don't know, but listen, they asked me, was I a boss or a husband? I said,
you know what the answer to that question is.
I'm a husband. I'm a proud.
Right.
They said, he's a simp.
Yeah.
Oh, you like to compromise? I said, yeah, I love to compromise with my woman.
Right.
It's an amazing feeling. I said, she leaves with her dignity intact. I leave with my do you hear this guy? He thinks a woman should have dignity. I was like, whoa, what is this?
Wow.
Oh, yeah. They're vicious, man.
Yeah, man.
There's no balance in the force.
Hey, to Cornerstone Kev's question though, Kev, you know what's gonna happen? If you want to play, you gotta pay.
Okay.
That's just how it works.
Yeah.
Because we had opportunities to draft stars and we swung and missed. Right? We had the opportunity to draft Michael Porter Jr. We had the opportunity to draft Donovan Mitchell. Right? We had the opportunity to draft certain guys, right? And we didn't. And so now we have to pay for it.
Cornerstone, right? Cornerstone, and if I can't freeze, I know I'm sorry because I didn't get to cook today. Cornerstone, the next 3 months, your heart should be shaking because the cornerstones they're gonna be loose. They ain't gonna,
it is what it is. It is what it is, man.
Every ounce of the foundation is going to be tested to see if there's any movement.
Well, GI, here's the thing. Here's the thing, GI.
The closet room, I think they're going to be letting anybody in here in this closet room? Because you're available to be traded right now.
Yeah, GI, here's the thing.
Absolutely.
The one thing that Ron taught me, Ron taught me, is that you are to be a fan of the team, not the individual. So whatever that is, I'm all for it. So if that means that all, Frank got to go, all these guys, if they got to go just to be better. Yeah. It is what it is. It is what it is.
I ain't get to say goodbye to him. Let me say goodbye. Frank, I love you. French Prince. Peace out, baby.
Peace out. Yeah.
Calm down, baby.
Yeah.
Hey, but listen.
But in saying that, go ahead.
Kev, I don't think they have to give up the farm with $60 million. I mean, I'm looking at the free agency. What we could do is buy young players like Josh Hart, maybe market in to be on the roster for a few years, get in some playoff runs, and then trade them in their second year of the contract.
Right.
Then you don't believe that the house is shaking right now. You don't believe that Leon Rose he's cut the lights out. Everybody done emptied their locker room. He's in charge now.
Yeah.
Right. So let me finish.
Fibs brought the. Okay, I'm sorry.
So you think it's only about the cap space? Everything is in motion at the same time. You can't just talk about. If you're gonna talk about any next move, it's everything. Because we're gonna use this cap space because we're gonna trade with them and because we're gonna do, and we're gonna do this with the draft picks and this with the. It's holistic. It ain't. It ain't just we gonna take cap space and add to these guys.
Yeah, it's fluid.
I don't think it's that.
Yeah, I think it's fluid. I think, but GI, all of my point is that Thibs brought this team further than anybody expected they would go. But to get to that next level, Leon Rose this is the year Leon Rose, and this is the summer with $60 million worth in cap, 2 first-round draft picks. What are you going to do to improve this team? And what is the blueprint and what is the thing? So as I was saying is that get some young players, marketing is going to be a restricted free agent. I like Josh Hart. We could probably even get Montrezl Harrell maybe on a 1-year deal to back up Julius. And he could be like
and that. Add them to who? Get those young players and add them to who? I guess that's where I'm confused.
Because in order for us to make that decision, you have to take that look in the mirror. You have to honestly say, who are we as a team? Because the assessment just isn't Julius Randle. You have to look at Emmanuel quickly. Is he a part of the future? Is Obi Toppin a part of the future? And if they are, then you keep them and just supplement around them. Because why go? No, CP, listen to me. You have to take the honest look in the mirror. Because why go out and buy the groceries that you may already have in your cupboard? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. So while I do understand where y'all are coming from, I just think that the next steps are not as easy as, not you, I'm not saying that you said this, but it's not as easy as what people say. Like going out and trading everything for Damian Lillard may not solve all your problems if Damian Lillard brings his Portland problems to New York. Now you have Julius Randle's problems in New York, Damian Lillard's problems from Portland in New York, and no resources to improve the team.
Or Uncle Freezy, in line with what you're saying, because you and I are saying the same thing. Or you go and trade all your resources for Damian Lillard, and then you're sitting here with this cap space, and you can't put no talent around him or the right pieces. Then what to CP is saying now, after you've traded for him, you can't get a bunch of young cheap guys.
What's CP? CP, where you?
I'm right here. I think you guys are
behind my back. I'm not accusing my back either. I'm talking to you on my back to you. I apologize. But that's what I'm saying, Uncle Free. You make that trade, and then you can't get all those young pieces to build the team. This is fluid.
Right.
This is the toughest job. You guys gave him executive of the year last year. Man, listen, this is his opportunity to become executive of the year right now.
I mean, he has choices, man. He has plenty of choices. You either gonna go in on superstar, or the best option for him right now is you get right now. You get complimentary pieces for next year because
that's my point.
That's 60 million, like because those draft picks they're gonna be valued on a later date. But that money, like you can get if you can get Josh Hart, you can bring in multiple pieces. Like the unrestricted free agent market, in terms of superstars, it's probably just gonna be Kawhi Leonard because I think Kyrie's gonna opt back in his contract and KD's gonna opt back in most definitely. But like the restricted free agents, like look, you got what's it called? Let's see, who's the free? Lonzo Ball's restricted free agent. Josh Hart's a restricted free agent. There's a dude on the Bulls, Lauri Markkanen.
I think they're out on Lauri too. I think out on Lauri.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. They out on Lauri. They're out on Lauri. The Bulls are out on. They've been out.
Let me defend my point real quick. Let me defend my point. My point. Look, we have 6 players on contract next year. Only 6. That means 9 of them are up for renewal. One of them, Kevin Knox, is a trade piece. So you have to fill out that roster, and you have to spend the money anyway because the NBA says, hey, you have to meet that cap threshold. Now you could just put pieces around Julius and RJ and make a better playoff run. And then if that doesn't work, and you have to package those people. Hopefully you have assets that, which I believe that we have, and that we could trade for superstars.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a chess game.
See, like the thing is, it's not even this year because next year and the year after, that free agent class is gonna be big because you're gonna have. Let's see, CJ's gonna be up. Like it's gonna be CJ McCollum. Who else? Kristaps. I don't even know. Shoot, if y'all don't want to bring Kristaps Porzingis back, I don't even know if that would work out. But yeah, Porzingis is gonna be back that he's gonna be up in 2023.
Who cares? We don't want him.
Dame's gonna be up in 2023. Chris, I think they got Chris Middleton. They got Chris Middleton for the long haul, and it's gonna be.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. The Knicks are not going to be waiting for 2022 because they're going to opt in Julius, or pay him, and pay him, and so now the expectations are higher. They're gonna try to improve this team next year, and they're gonna look at Atlanta, a team that beat us. They beat us with who? They beat us with Bogdanovich, who played for Sacramento, Clint Capella, who is a defensive player of the year type, and Lou Williams, and young draft picks. We're going to be expected to kind of do the same for the long haul, and I believe like where the super team is concerned, like Brooklyn, right? Brooklyn is in a bad situation because they're going to be they're going to have to re-up pretty soon. Help me out,
James Harden.
No, I was thinking KD and Kyrie because their contracts are coming up, right? Their contracts are coming up. So they signed a 4-year but a 1-year option.
Yeah, it's a 3 plus. Actually, it's a 3+1. But KD signed. Well, Kyrie signed a 3+1. KD signed a 2+2. So he could actually. So the thing is, he can actually get more money after this year. Or he could opt out and basically play next year and be an unrestricted free agent next year. And then Harden, his contract is up in 2 years, and he's gonna be asking for around 200 and something million because
4 years, 200 million.
Yeah, but we are looking at.
Let's not get off that point, right? So they are not going to be future contenders. The Knicks can be future contenders if we do this right, because all those top teams in the East are going to be going down. Embiid, right? He can't stay healthy. They're gonna, if they don't win a championship, they're gonna have to break up the team and trade for more and more, more assets, because you can't stay the same. So I don't believe that the glass is half empty with the Knicks. If we put some a good team together that's affordable and young, and rise up into the same. I'm not like and Giannis, the Bucks, they're cap struck. They're not going to improve their team. Nobody wants to go there.
Right.
But in order to get good players, you're gonna have to trade the good players that you have. So we're in a good position, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I don't think we need superstars. I think we need probably one superstar.
Yeah, I think the ideal, and I know this is going to sound sacrilegious, but I think, you know what? I'm going to save it for the real offseason. But hey, guys, I gotta go, man. I gotta do something in Hartsville. I gotta go do something. My bad, shall we? Hey, the Knicks Time Podcast, baby. We're gonna be back on in 12 hours. You know how we roll.
I was trying to get on last night, but I had technical difficulties.
Yeah, and Hoodie Kev was in his bag, in his hater bag.
Listen,
I was Kev. Oh, go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
No. I was saying yesterday when you was going at Hoodie Kev, I don't know what he was talking about, man. So, man,
he's jealous. He's jealous of CP the artist. He's jealous of CP the artist.
What happened? What I missed, man?
So Hoodie Kev was like, "Yo, you know I'm tall, right?" And I'm like, "I know you tall, bro. I know this. You keep telling me you 6'5". And you know, I was the best shooter in North Carolina history." And I was like, "Yo, you know Steph Curry and Michael Jordan played high school ball in North Carolina, right?" I know. I'm the greatest shooter in North Carolina history. Look at the record books. And so I was like, "Bro, okay." You know, like what he's like, and look at me. I look like Ricky from Boys in the Hood. And all the things he was saying, right? And I was like, bro, yeah. So I'm like, bro, what does this have to do with the Knicks losing in the playoffs? But I just want to be right. And so I was like, bro, because he said something that was weird. And I promise you, I got to get out of here. You know what? I'm gonna just save it. I got to get out of here. I'm sorry, y'all. I got to get on this road.
No doubt.
But anyway, if you like what you saw today with Amar, I'm going to try to get him back on the show again next week, just so that we can talk NBA playoffs and some other things. I have some other guests too. That Jonathan Macri from Knicks Film School will be on tomorrow at 8:45 to 9 o'clock. Jonathan Macri from the Knicks Film School will be on tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, right? He'll be on Friday. So Jonathan Macri will be on. I'm going to try to get Amar back on next week. I have some other guests that I want to bring on, kind of mix it up a little bit to make it a little bit more interesting for everybody. So I got to get out of here right now, though, so I can go run some errands before it gets too late. But, hey, Sean, listen, we definitely going to get on it and chop it up.
Yeah,
hey, P-Roll, hey, next week, not next week, but we just had a guest on. That's the reason why we didn't get a chance to chop it up.
Hey man, it's all good, man. Happy to hear from new people and everything, man. I found I was on another Knicks podcast due to my other dude. I got some friends. I've been hopping on different podcasts, just trying to spread my voice around and everything. So you know. But I salute y'all. Really enjoy y'all taking everything. Hey, next time I do plan to come up there. You know, once I don't know about this season because I'll be in school full time. But like if the Knicks, if they have a game, if they come down here to Tennessee, when they come to Memphis or they go to Atlanta, I'll be at one of those games and everything. If y'all down here, man, y'all ever come down to Memphis, man, come down to Tennessee, bro. Hey, yo, man, we're gonna be chopping it up, man. It's not just country music down here, bro. We got a whole bunch of stuff, man.
Right. No doubt.
Amen.
Hey, you know what? As far as the Memphis trip, I think I might fly in there. If you know what I'm saying, because that's a long. Memphis is on the other side of Tennessee, so I have to fly over there.
Right. I live in. It's a drive. It's a drive for me because I live in Nashville, so I'll just I'll drive there. But
what is it like 2.5 hours?
It's 3.5 hours. It should be 2.5 hours, but going into Memphis, that traffic is on some BS, bro. I'm not even lying on that. It's stupid, bro.
Right. So it's like driving into Atlanta.
Yes, it's like, and I'm from Atlanta, bro. So I know, man, driving to Atlanta on 75, 285, man, that's crazy.
Right.
Hey, man, but thank you for having me on, man. I'm finna head out, man. God bless you and everything. God bless y'all in the chat and everything. Great podcast. I love it and everything. So I see you when I see y'all.
All right, bro. And just
later today.
Word. No doubt. And just real quick, Sports Live in the ATL says, Knicks fans, I have 3 videos and a long premiere uploading. My trolling you has just started. Right. Hey, but we're gonna check out your stuff and support it anyway. Trolling or not, we're gonna check out your stuff and support it. But anyway, we out of here, and I'll holler at y'all.